Um, all right, all right, all right. You got like 10 seconds before we start to complain about the volume. Just to be clear, Justin is at max volume. You can see that right now, so you're not allowed to complain about Justin's volume. Um, all right, all right. And that means that if you are watching this on YouTube right now, you are not allowed to complain about the volume because I just did my best to fix it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tub Takes. We definitely haven't been streaming for 25 minutes. If you're watching on YouTube, you missed out on extra special bonus content that you can only get by watching on twitch.tv/TubNationTV.
So true.
And we got three special guests.
Exclusive.
This is a podcast, video podcast, where we talk about the most recent happenings in Pokemon VGC, and I'm joined by three top players. I am joined by Tommy DeRosa. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Sub to my OnlyFans.
you wanna link it in chat? I enjoy.
I would if I had
Get
one.
it out there early.
I am joined by Justin Burns.
Hello, hello, hello.
We saw your request for Justin to rejoin the podcast, and we got him on. And we are joined by my wonderful co-host Alex Underhill.
Hey guys, it was me. I was the one that requested Justin.
All right, so kicking things off today, we have a lot to talk about today. First and foremost, I guess, is going to be talking about what happened this past weekend. We were just bantering about some locals, but the big news, of course, was over in Asia, where a bunch of countries had their qualifications for nationals. Now, if you remember, a few weeks ago, we talked about how the Korean and Japanese national qualifiers were really scuffed. They kind of messed up, and in fact, they did throw an update out to fix it. And the way that they announced it, I thought was very funny because they just did not explicitly reference the nationals. They just said, quote, "This update resolves an issue that caused unintended behavior in private official tournaments that certain users were invited to participate in."
Yeah, I linked this one just for the phrasing, because the phrasing was just so like, what? Just say it, man. Just say it. So ridiculous.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people play Pokemon that don't care about what happened over in Asia, and so they had no idea what was going on. Although the Ray Rizzo video certainly made, I think, the general populace a lot more aware, because anyone who play Pokemon surely follows Ray Rizzo.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like so many of those tweets, like not the tweets, but like the announcements of they were like in joke form already. Like you didn't have to make it funny; it just already was.
yeah, I get what you're saying.
But yeah, so they released an update, and then afterwards they had the online qualifiers for Korean Worlds, for the Worlds Korean qualifiers, Japan Nationals qualifiers, and they also had I think they had a couple of the Southeast Asian tournaments qualifiers, which were a whole other thing that we can talk about. But I guess let's start with Korea, I guess. And so this is what happened. Essentially, they unqualified everyone who had made it previously, and instead they said, okay, this new tournament is going to decide everything. I know I saw at least one person who had made Worlds earlier who said, I just am not free this weekend. I can't play. I think that was Calc, he's a notable Korean player.
Yep.
And instead they said, same details otherwise. But the bonus, hey, if you missed it, is you get to qualify for Trainers Cup 2024. I'm not sure what that is, actually. Anyone know?
What a consolation prize. I think that's their nationals for next year or whatever.
Yeah,
Believe
no,
yeah,
the Trainers
believe
Cup is essentially, so the way that it worked was, I believe only the top 4 players are moving on to an actual live stage, and that is determined by the top 4 of the top 16 players in the global challenges or whatever. Were the ones that moved on to play in this Trainers Cup tournament. Then top 4 was determined and so on. But basically, they can skip the global challenge qualifier stage next year. It's a very shitty consolation prize, considering that a lot of the players were saying that it was like the equivalent of getting like 1600 in the GC. It was not something too
It's like
difficult.
qualifying for Players Cup.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
100.
Yeah, that's I mean, I don't know what they expected the consolation prize would be if there was one. They made it very explicitly clear that they were not going to invite more people to their live stage or not give out more Worlds invites, and they don't have any other tournament to qualify for. Like it's not like they could. I don't know what else they'd try to do, but obviously the entire system is a little scuffed. And but yeah, I mean, they did give out the Worlds invite. I know the player who hopefully, I'm always scared when I click on a Twitter profile I don't go on normally, because there's like a 30% chance there's just like hentai on there with VGC players. But in this case, we did see Kuro was the player who I believe got first place in Japan or in Korea, excuse me. I think this is the player. It's blue. This is different Kuro. Or do these tweet a lot? Maybe I got the wrong profile. It's a blue VGC again. Yeah, okay, here we go. This is the player who got first place overall in Korea, and has tweeted out a rental code if you want to try out their team. But this is the team that won the Korean Nationals qualifiers and got the day 2 invite. Anyone have?
So Adi, if you want, I'm just like looking through now. I think the next link in the Korea Nats section gives a bit more details on the Trainers Cup.
Ah, very cool. Yeah, so top 4 players make it to the Pokemon Trainers Cup, and then they get to play.
Which was a tournament that took place over the weekend, and
I believe that it is like a pre-recorded stream is what's going to happen. And I'm not exactly sure what the format is, but yeah, everyone gets a day 2 invite.
Trainers Cup.
If you win, you get the flight plus accommodation. If you get second, you get flights, and if you get to top 4, then you just get accommodation. But I feel like accommodation might be worth more than the flight from Korea to Japan. I don't know.
Especially if it's for the entire duration of your stay.
Right? Like you get a 4-day trip, 4 days of hotel. So a nice hotel is probably more expensive than a round trip flight from Korea. But and then you also,
if you're scared about your finals matchup, you can just take your accommodation.
Yep.
It does say they have to participate in this event to confirm their World's Day 2 invite. So they could just forfeit, but they do have to show up. So that is Korea. I know. I think,
one thing, scrolling down this page, it says the open team list don't show Terra types.
Is that for Korea's, or was that a different tournament?
Korea.
Ah, yes. This is the thing that was being talked about. A lot of people were talking about. Wait, is this on the Victory Road page, Burns?
It does say it on the Victory Road page, yeah. The rule set is VGC Regulation C with open team lists except for Terra types, which will be closed.
Oh, there it is. I found the text. Okay. Yeah, so we're trying something new, and honestly, it's so funny to me because this is, I think, kind of the opposite of what some people were asking for when open team sheets were first announced and stuff like that. Is people were like, "Oh, just tell us the Terra types. We everything else, let's do it like how we used to." And then they were like, "We got you. You don't want to know the Terra types? Let's keep them a surprise." And so now. You know that Arcanine's safety goggles, but is it Terra Grass? Is it Terra Water? I don't know. Hit it with a freeze dry, you'll be safe. Yeah.
When do we get the open team sheets closed Terra type ladder? That's what I want to know.
How do you even practice for this? People
already don't open the team sheets on ladder that allows open team sheets.
Well, practicing for this is also especially scuffed because it's a 4-person invitational tournament, and so this I know Alex talks about how much he hates team tours, but because there's so much counter teaming, if it's a 4-person tournament and you get a free Nintendo Switch plus flights and accommodations if you win, I'm just counter teaming people. I'm sorry. I'm looking at their tendencies. I'm looking at all the teams they've used in the past, and I'm figuring out exactly what's going to have the best matchup into what they're bringing.
Yep. No, that totally makes sense. I mean, when a tournament's that small, invite only. It is just a bit of a joke. A bit it's just so different than anything. That's the thing about all of these tournaments that they're hosting in Asia this year to qualify for the current Worlds is every tournament has felt different in some way than compared to what they've done in years past, what we do over here in the West, and it's just I don't know. I don't know really what else to say besides they just find a different way to do it wrong every time.
if in a 4-person invitational, we might get to see some really zany teams too. Like what Adi said, if you're counter teaming, if player A like always plays Mon X and Mon Y sees no usage at all, but is just really good into Mon X, you'll see like, I don't know.
I'm hoping to see Brambleghast make a big come out,
Right.
a big appearance in the tournament here. That is the best counter team Mon I can think of, and not me just picking a random Gen 9 Mon. But yeah. Anyways, Japan Nats I think also did their next stage. They ran the redo tournament over this past weekend.
I think
right.
One more thing, I saw a list of players who qualified from Korea. I don't know where I saw it. I saw it in the document, but I did see the Sejin made Worlds in the day one. So, actually, it's on Victory Road. That's right, Victory Road has it. Love Victory Road. They had the like Worlds page where they just had all the people who made had a Worlds invite, and they tweeted it, and I can't find it on their website because their website is way harder to navigate. But
if you hover over 2023 season, they have a tab that says Worlds Invites.
I'm just gonna go through the Twitter because that's just easier to navigate. But I guess let's just hop over to Korea and see if we know any of the other players. I did pop up the player who won, but main name that I wanted to highlight, of course, is Sejin Park, who made it at 9th place overall. Is going to be hopefully competing at Day 1 Worlds. Any other notable players you guys want to talk about?
I'm leaning into my screen and reading them, and I'm not sure I know anybody off the top of my head. If there were usernames, it might be different, but I don't.
Mm-hmm. Wait, this list is wild. It like just tells you how everyone got their invite. Like tells you what tournament they got it at.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, am I in this list? Like, does it say how I got it or something?
Yeah, you got it at UIC, right?
I think so.
Something like that.
No, I didn't get it at UIC. I had it.
I got it at OCIC.
Oh, okay. Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, it looks like
Got
Blue
from
Sungjun
Challenge 1
is definitely a name that I recognize. I might butcher the pronunciation. Nash is a name that I recognize at number 3, and then Candy Bonks is another player who is a very, very consistent Korean player. And so that's the top 4, so very deserving top 4. And then I'm looking through the rest of the top 16, and I recognize none of these names other than Sejin. So, yeah, we talk about best of 1, but it looks like at least the players that I know are very good. The players who made top 4 are players who I know are very good. So, all right.
I mean, that checks out. The skills kind of translate. So.
Mm-hmm. So, moving on, we can talk about Japan. Japan did have their national or their qualifiers. Their qualifiers were a little different because they already had their first online tournament, and those results were not nullified. The original number of Worlds invites given for Japan were 64 Worlds invites with, I believe, 8 Day 2 invites. And the originally planned double elimination live section was going to decide who got the 8 Day 2 invites from the 64 players who got their Day 1 invites. Now what happened is they are having a second online qualifier, and that tournament is deciding the additional 64 players who make it to the live section, which is now going to be 128 players. And those 128 players are now going to duke it out. And you have to go 2-1, assuming it's still double elim, in the first 3 rounds in order to make it to Worlds, at which point you can continue duking it out for a potential chance at a Day 2 invite from Japan.
Mm-hmm. I think, Adi, let me see. If you go to the other page, it shows the players that got top 64 in the tournament, at the very least. There's not going to be very many teams there because a lot of the players are being cautious about it.
I didn't see that one. Okay.
Yeah, the Liberty Note page. The other one, I linked in there because I was like kind of nervous. I didn't have many pages for us to reference in this. And so that first one is actually just a collection of rental teams that were used throughout the different qualifiers for Japan, I believe. Mm-hmm. And so it's definitely a good source if you see any 6 Pokemon that you're like, oh, I want to use that. There's like a Vaporeon in the third image. And a Breloom next to it. If there's any team that, you're interested in, this tweet's just a solid reference to get a lot of rental codes. But this has the top 64 here. So these are the players that will be joining the other 64 players that qualified in the first circuit to, as Adi said, duke it out to figure out the final 64 that actually get Day 1 Worlds invites or more.
Mm-hmm. And the margins are just so small. for making that top 64. I think Naoto, former world champion, tweeted out that going into his last game, he was 65th with a 1579 rating. He won that game and he jumped all the way to 16th. Because if you look at these ratings, everyone parked. There's no incentive to keep playing, and so it looks like the difference between 64th and like 32nd is like 3 points. Like it's under 5 points.
It really is. It really is. I'm looking at it now, and 1581, the magic number. I imagine that there's somebody else who is between 1581, 739, and like 1581.5. Like
that is very stressful.
It's legitimately a 14-point difference. That's one game, a 14-point difference between 5th place and 64th. So those are the type of margins that you're dealing with in this sort of best of one. We've talked about it on global challenges before, where the top 50 players from Japan make it, and so numbers like 5 through 60 are all Japanese players, or the top 150, right? It's just like this huge string of Japanese players because they're the only ones who have, or they have incentive to park. And the top 10 is like all Western players, and then after that is all Western players. It's kind of crazy.
And then lastly, something that I definitely think is funny to mention is just there was like word talking about this. This was or wasn't Palafin, but I do believe it is Palafin.
It's definitely.
Yeah. So
is it Finizen?
No, sorry. Yeah, some people were worried if it was like Finizen, the baby one, but no, I think it is actually just Palafin. Palafin rocking 45th place in usage. I think this is just in this Japan Nats qualifier that we're talking about, not like overall on the ladder or anything like that. But it's funny because there was like a tweet early on that said, you should either be playing Palafin or playing Cheese, and some Japanese players said this, and they all kind of thought that this Pokemon was like overpowered as hell. And now look at how it's fallen. It's kind of like been falling out of favor over here in like NA, EU, but to see it fall all the way to 45th in usage in a best of one ladder tournament, it's a little bit different. But I guess Palafin's just not a very surprising Pokemon, and people wanted to do some stuff that could take them to what 3-0, 4-0, however. I don't. Maybe not that. It's probably more like 5 or 6-0.
I mean, maybe everyone
higher.
Maybe everyone saw that tweet and was just like, "All right, I'll pick Cheese."
It's time for Cheese.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I mean, the tempo suck is just devastating, especially when people can also cheese you for an additional turn, right? Like with Terra, right? It's close team sheet. You get to Terra. You almost always get to steal a turn with Terra unless you're running something like Terra Flying Dragonite or Terra Flying Roaring Moon. That's very obvious. So being able to steal 2 turns, 1 by switching Palafin out and 2 by clicking your Terra button and surprising your opponent is just always just such a devastating blow, I think. And you're not allowed to do that in a best of one competition nearly as much.
Oh, Paul, did somebody finally use the Fortress team? Because that team's been seeing use in both like the in-game ladder as well as these qualifiers. And yeah, it's got Fortress and Braviary. It's always shown up in the Liberty Note list. They always say like, these are the 2 I'm using, but I'm not mentioning the rest. Did they finally release the full team? That would be pretty juicy.
Yeah, I mean, these are all the rental codes that at least Cobalt has accumulated from the qualifiers from Japan Nationals. I see a Breedlum team in there. I see a Florges team in there. See a Braviary, but I don't see a Fortress on this list.
I'm guessing the team was somewhere on Twitter.
Got a tab.
Maybe
about the Florges.
Maybe Paul can hook us up with a link later.
We got to see multiple
making a comeback yet? Oh, Colossal.
Who was it? It was I forget. Was it Ryota who tweeted a Colossal team? And I was like, oh, this is like cool. Let me try this out. Played 1 game with it. Proc by Colossal's Absorb Bulb. Clicked Power Gem into a Spiritomb, I think, and did less than 50 and said, can't use this mod. I don't know how people are using it. Does no damage.
+1 Power Gem from Cole, and Audi expected it to do over half to anything. Like
just do over half? Just 2-shot, please.
It's like 80 base power off of like an 80 special attack, and the mod is only +1, not +2.
How did he use the Pokemon? I don't get it.
No Meteor Beam for sure.
Nope. No, it is not. That move was kind of crazy. I can understand it being a little bit too strong in a non-Dynamax meta, maybe.
It would be kind of whack with Rock Terra.
Yeah, true.
It's,
Um,
it's pretty cool. I think that that'd be I think Meteor Beam is like a remarkably balanced move because it also eats your item up.
yeah,
Like
item and it can miss.
it can miss. Like it's obviously very powerful on in a Dynamax format where you can like click it once, get your special attack boost, and then Dynamax, and and just continue clicking your rock move. It's specifically very powerful on Neoligo. But other than that, like I think it's remarkably balanced.
Yo, Terra Rock Neolego with the meat beam. Let's go.
Besides Colossal and Nihiligo got like Meteor Beam. Like it wasn't on too many like months.
Lunala.
Yeah, I mean Lunala used it too. I mean,
Yep.
I think almost all the viable mons that used like that had Meteor Beam were running Meteor Beam.
I guess that's fair. Yeah.
Lunala used it because it was 4x weak to Incineroar and needed a way to hit Incineroar.
Beat Incineroar
Not because
ass.
like it was the best move it could be clicking into in a vacuum,
I guess that's somewhat fair.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
The +1 was also really sweet for Lunala.
It
though, 'cause,
was also
like,
pretty
tap
sweet
that
to have a
Incineroar,
+1.
and then your Moongeese just beats
Demons,
everything
right?
else.
It's just
Moon Geese.
Moongeese.
it's off like 120 base power, and then you always have +1 when you use it, so it's basically 180 base power.
Okay, I'm looking at the list of Pokemon that learned it, and I guess I can pull that up on stream. I was looking at the list of Pokemon that learned it, and basically everything that has a special attack stat that could use it did use it. Eternatus used it. Celesteela used it. Like, that's basically it. Like Bronzong occasionally used it if it was a special attacker. Cradilly, like, okay, I see what you're saying. Like every special attacker on this list did in fact use it. Starmie,
Yeah, Lunatone. Yeah, no, it is kind of just everything. Now that I'm thinking about it, everything that like was
Okay, so I'll bail you out here. I like as the resident doubles OU player in the on this podcast. I can tell you that DNC did not use it.
I think it might have already had a strong rock move, as far as I remember. I don't know much about Diancie, but I do think it learns like Diamond Storm.
It used Diamond Storm. It used Moonblast, but it did not use Meteor Beam.
There you go. There you have it, folks. It actually opted in to run another item because it already had a broken rock move. All right. Yeah, this is honestly getting on the edge of home talk. Let's bring it back to talking about the last Asian national that we want to be talking about for this current week, which is
this
Taiwan.
One was maybe the most fucked up one. This is Taiwan, yeah. And so I guess did Victory Road have one? They did. So Victory Road has a page on it, and then a bunch of people have commentary on it. But essentially, the format for Taiwan had maybe the weirdest format of any of the Southeast Asian countries because it wasn't just like an online tournament. It was a online qualifier, and as far as I'm concerned, I think basically everyone who tried qualified for the day one portion, which is 128 qualified players and 4 rounds of single elim until you get to top 16. However, it wasn't just top 16 because they had 3 regionals in the tournament in Taiwan earlier, and the winner of each of those regionals automatically made it to that top 16. And so some number of players did not. So I think there's like top 13 or something from day one or something like that, something silly like that, from the single elim bracket. Open team sheet, best of 1, I believe. And they get to top 16. However, they also normally they had 4 Worlds invites. The player who won the 3rd regional in Taiwan was given a automatic day 1 Worlds invite and a bye into top 8 of this bracket. Now it turns out that in order to make a day 1 Worlds invite, you needed to get top 4 of this tournament, and so that person, by winning 1 game, made it to day 1 Worlds a second time, and they did not drop that invite down a slot. And so Taiwan only was given 3 day 1 Worlds, or 3 total Worlds invites. And that person actually ended up winning the tournament and getting their automatic day 2 Worlds invite. So that was the Taiwan national system. We have a list of all the teams that made it to the top 16 bracket side. And there was a stream for this if you were going to go back and watch all of the sets. What are you guys' thoughts?
Well, I actually think before we get to talking about the teams, I do want to talk more about the structure and stuff. That's why I realized that yeah, audio was important to jump down to the bottom here to give the logistics of how the event was run. But I do kind of want to go through some of these tweets, given the thoughts, just like talk. I mean, a lot of them are breaking it down. A lot of them are talking about like complaints. I think the craziest one was the one where it's kind of what you were referencing in the stream announcement tweet, where they said they wanted to see more Asian players at the Worlds, and it's just like, oh my god.
That was one of those ones that was already in joke form.
Yes.
You could not make that funnier.
Yeah.
They want to see more Asian players, and then they kneecap all Worlds invite away from Taiwan.
This is what I was riffing on the bit. I think someone said, again, I don't. There's just too many tweets. This is just so hard to navigate. But someone said that they asked the TPC representative about it, and they were just extremely dismissive about it. I don't know if we had a tweet about that or not.
I think that was. You're right. I actually don't remember where that one was.
Yeah. Okay, this is this guy. And so here, Chen X2, I think, is the person who actually came on stream with the like anti-TPC nicknames, and they forced them to turn off nicknames afterwards just as a result. So shout out to that guy. Super based. And we are also having anti-TPC nicknames for our next regional, right? That's what we're all doing.
Yeah, right. Of course.
In solidarity with Chen. Yeah, he said that
Train's already rolling.
he said that the hold up, did he not? Yeah, he said that they talked to the representative, and they refused to listen. As the tournament was about to end, some players tried to speak to the request in Japanese, because of course that's another problem with the system, is that TPC is run primarily in Japanese. These players are not from Japan; they don't necessarily speak Japanese, and they have very limited communication with the Pokemon Company as a result. But before some of them did know Japanese, they tried to speak to the TPC representative, but before they could even finish the first sentence, the representative with the higher status showed a visibly annoyed expression, like he knew what we were going to say, ordered the other representative to stay and listen, and then left without listening. And the first word that the other representative said was impossible. So that was the attitude that they had towards these I think very reasonable requests from the Taiwanese player.
Yeah, they are just kind of giving up over there. Not the players. The players are still trying to, fight the good fight, but they just seem to be making no efforts to right these wrongs or just listen to anybody. And it's so sad to see what they're doing to like all these Asian countries. And yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say besides, like, you definitely go read all of this tweet if you want to get more information about what exactly is going on over there. I think that this one from Chen was a very good summary and lays it all out.
I guess, yeah. I mean, we've harped on this multiple times about how awful the system is, about how mistreated these players are. I see Gunter in the replies. He's an Indonesian player, I believe, and I don't think they even have a tournament a way to qualify for Worlds, and he's qualified for Worlds multiple times in the past. And so that's also extremely scuffed. I am curious how much they are listening to the backlash, because not only was there backlash from a lot of these Asian countries, but there's also backlash from Japan and Korea, and I suspect that they listen to those a lot more as well, just because, one, easier lines of communication, two, Pokemon is a really big deal in Japan, and I heard that the scuffed Japan Nationals qualifiers just like made it to the news in Japan, like the actual news, not just like like our little Twitter circles. And so I'm hoping that because of that, we're going to see some real change to the circuit. But I just don't know what the communication channels look like, how much TPCI has of a say, because I think Worlds is a TPCI event, whether they have any power to do anything or have any influence over it, or any sort of other changes that might happen.
Yeah, it's a really strange situation, and I think with regard to TPCI running Worlds, I think TPC still kind of has the final say Obviously, I don't think TPCI would have, wanted to give, like back in 2015, where they gave everyone from Japan a day one invite. I don't think they wanted that to happen. It's just an interesting situation to me because if you remember, at the start of COVID, we found out that uh, all of Asia was going to fall under TPC's ruling when it comes to competitive play. And it's just kind of sad to see that they were taken out of the TPCI circuit and then immediately put into like a much worse situation. Last year, like, it was fine. I think like it was all right, but probably like I think they still would have preferred playing under TPCI system last year, but then this year they just made it even worse, and it's just really it's hard to understand what's going on behind the doors at TPC, and it does we gripe about TPCI all the time, but this kind of stuff really makes you appreciate that we have Chris Brown, who has an esports background, which is probably unlike anybody running the circuits at TPC. I don't think any of them have esports backgrounds like Chris does. So we are we've got our own problems, but it's still a much better situation than what's going on over there.
Mm-hmm. They just don't even get to play the game or send any reasonable number of players to the tournament. Like, I was talking to my dad earlier. He was like, "How many invites do they have for US already?" And then I was like, "All right, let me go check." And then like I think we're at like 49 for just NA.
Yeah, it's actually pretty wild. Like, I'm very suspicious that the reason they started giving points for GCs and actually brought locals back this year was because they were way below the number of Worlds invites they wanted. So like to have that thought and then also see them kneecap Asian players from their Worlds invites is pretty wild.
They're literally just giving no invites, like
Yeah.
4 from Taiwan, and it's. I mean, three now because
World's going to be very small this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But I think that with respect to bringing locals back and stuff like that, there's also the other reason that is they need to start hosting locals so that there are no problems next year when they like fully roll it out again, and they can start like getting specifically like with my locals here, different topic, but they're like, you need to start hosting locals that are unsanctioned or not unsanctioned, but don't give out championship points before we can give you championship win locals, and so getting
Right.
that like
Yeah, I have that issue.
Well.
I have that issue as a TO. Mm-hmm. I have the professor certification, but like they won't let me host PCs until I have X amount of locals that nobody cares about, and it's like pretty difficult actually to get people to come to the locals that don't give CP.
Yeah, I feel
So,
that.
but if you can't get there, then you can't host PCs in the first place.
Yep. So I think that's another reason that they started hosting somewhat sanctioned locals again, just to make sure people were a little more aware of them. But it really is a pretty stark difference. I mean, we see 49 North American players getting the World's invite. That number, that's before internet. That number probably goes up to 80, and I think it's normally around 80 in a normal season. And then obviously not everyone gets to go. Europe, I think, has 65 right now, is what I saw. 65, and that's also going to go up because they still have a couple more special events, and they also still have locals. And so obviously getting to Japan is going to be a lot harder for American and European players. And LATAM, I mean, they finally got out of the single digits, with Global Challenge 3 and with this recent special events, but like there was like a 9 for the longest time.
Mm-hmm. Seriously.
Oceania actually popping off. I did not realize Oceania has 20 day one Worlds invites. I think they actually don't have any more events. I think they're done.
They're done. Yeah.
They have locals maybe, and that's about it. So I guess this is what you get. But yeah. I guess just like bring it back to Taiwan, the original topic. Did we want to look at the teams? Did we have any?
Yeah, we can look at the teams really quick here at the end before we move on. Pokemon Home. It was won by a Tailwind offense team, Double Ice, Double Dragon, Fluttermane. Free space. It is actually a free space in all of top 8 except for one team, which has a different, of course, Gen 9 Ghost. You got to have a Gen 9 Ghost. I mean, what do you see? The team below that's got another Gen 9 Ghost. You got to have a Gen 9 Ghost. Usually it's Fluttermane. But yeah, other than that, it's like a slightly different take on Tailwind offense. I mean, I don't think I've seen exactly those 6, but you often see Talonflame paired with an Earthquake Pokemon, a Fluttermane, a bundled because, Tailwind isn't enough. You need to have bundle 2.
It is an arms race for sure.
It really is. The Tailwind arms race don't stop. And just wait till we get a Lucky or whatever. Although I guess that's not faster than bundle. Scarf for Lucky. Yeah. The runner-up team is kind of just like stuff we've been seeing, right? There's not a lot to say about that. The team in third, I think, is pretty notable. I think from what I remember, it was like Terra Dark Pulse Armarouge, and that had everyone in the call that I was watching it with scratching their head, like, what's the goal here? And I still don't know.
Terrified.
Beats other Armarouge.
Wait, what was that?
Do you say something?
Oh, I was just saying I'm terrified of clicking these links, but it looks like they linked to a Yahoo article that linked to a Facebook page that linked to a Yahoo article with the team. No, this is someone else, maybe. They retweeted this. I don't know. They might have the team public, but
the Terra Dark Armarouge though is just to beat other Indeedee Armarouge.
I guess so. Yeah, honestly, and I mean this was hidden Terra types, so I guess. If you really wanted to, like that's the thing is, if a Fluttermane sees that you're Terra Dark, they might just consider moonblasting you.
Is it close Terra? It says open team lists.
Am I getting tournaments mixed up?
Korea's going to be close Terra.
Korea is, yes. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. This one, I actually think I remember them showing the team sheets before the sets, and I thought that was a really cool thing.
They did, and I think that one of the other complaints was that there was no clarification about whether this tournament would be open or closed team sheet until they actually got to the venue.
Oh, yes. Somebody did mention that. It's added to the list, added to the pile of ridiculousness. But yeah, other than that, are there any standout teams in the top 16 here that you guys want to give a shout to?
There's a Scizor in top 8.
There is a Scizor right there. Sneak it in next to the Wochen, honestly.
Wochen.
They did tweet out their team. They do have a rental code, so if you want to try out the Scizor team, it is available.
Awesome.
It's a
awesome.
Saltfest Wochen with a Saltfest Wochen with a Citrus Scizor. Citrus is pretty reasonable, I think. And Clan Backs. So.
Okay.
Wait, it's Terra Water. I was like, it's Terra Grass now. It's Terra Water Wochen.
The normal move is almost definitely Terra Blast.
You would Terra Blast. Yep. This is just hey, you want your Wochen to just hit hard and click Pollen Puff. Fair enough.
I mean, yeah, this isn't a new Wochian set. This is definitely something that's popped up before.
Really? Oh, they've
popped up in my team builder.
It's popped up in Justin's team builder.
Of course.
Okay.
I've lost this Specs Terra Blast Wochian in one of the GCs, so like it's definitely something people are using.
A common technique to when you're looking at a team in another language that you don't know is to just look at if you know what a move is that another Pokemon might know, is to look at that, and it does seem like the Wochian shares a normal move with Chi-Yu.
The other secret technique is clicking the link, the tweet below that, and it has the Poke Paste. So I just pulled that up.
That's honestly a little bit OP, and I don't normally resort to that. But if you want like a good cop out like that, and don't want to brush up.
That's hacks, bro. Whatever happened to punching all the moves into Bulbapedia till you hit the right one?
Yeah, that's the way. That is the way. I've actually got an image translator that I can do now that I just just select that part of the page, throw it in there, and it translates all the moves roughly, pretty poorly though. Triple Ice type also in top 8. There was a Boma bundle, but also the Chen-Pao. This Chen-Pao, not only is it not dropping its own defense with Sword of Ruin, but its defense is boosted. I bet this thing only takes like 98 from Sacred Sword. From other Chen-Pao. maybe actually still 100 something. It's probably still dying, even with the snow boost. But yeah, otherwise, multiple Screen Tail appearances, a lot of like standard teams using Firewater Grass, Gyarados being the water here, Mungus being the grass, and then actually mostly Chi-Yu, but there was a Volcarona. A lot of Iron Hands. Tinglu or Roaring Moon.
Volk is a Pokemon that has seen like no usage this format, and I thought in Series 0 was pretty good. I don't know if it's like that was like our preconceived notions of the metagame that's like, standing out, but like that's a mon that probably I think we need to take a second look at. So cool.
There's like so many archetypes that you could just click Bug Buzz into.
The thing with Volk is it often feels like a fake fire type when it comes to certain resistances. I mean, Chi-Yu could kind of feel that way too, because when I'm putting a fire type on my team, it's often because I want to resist fire and fairy. And Chi-Yu doesn't resist fairy, and Volcarona doesn't resist fire. So Volcarona can kind of have a tendency to get cooked by opposing Chi-Yu.
And you can also KO the opposing Chi-Yu back, so it's got that going for it.
What's that?
It can also like hit the opposing Chi-Yu pretty hard, so it does have that going for it. Or boost its spit out.
A little bit.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. It also like is a fire type that's not weak to ground. Not that it doesn't get like absolutely nuked by a headlong rush, but you know it can take an earthquake. It can stand in front of Tinglu a little bit more than most fire types can, which is something it has going for it too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Stone Edge.
Yeah, so I think that's it for this one for Taiwan, and I guess I don't know if I ordered things the best, but now do we want to talk about the special events first, or do we want to talk about Pokemon Home?
Let's talk about the special events because I don't know if I don't think we're gonna spend too much time on these, but there were I think 2 special events over in LATAM. There was one in Lima, and then there was one in Bogota. And so it's kind of interesting that they had them in the same weekend. It meant that you kind of choose one or the other. And I think they both had about the same attendance, about 80 odd players. And so I actually know a few NA players who flew out to Bogota for this event. I was joking the flights were cheaper than Fresno at some point. And I was trying to bully Gavin into flying there because I found like a $400 round trip from Los Angeles. And he did not bite. But yeah, there were a few North American players who flew out there. I saw Hari Pokemon, the French player, was signed up. Did not show up because he got dropped after round 1. But there was a few notable names at this tournament, and then one American did top cut along with a bunch of LATAM players who I am not super familiar with.
Wait, so are we looking at Lima or Bogota first? Okay. I didn't realize that there was 2 Italians at the top cut here.
That's not Italy.
Those are not Italian.
I wanted to see if somebody was saying something. Yeah.
But I mean, I think that Victory Road tweeted out Juanca's achievements, and obviously like traveling within LATAM is often very difficult. The great distances and lower income levels, and means that like they don't get to, some players don't get to travel nearly as much. And this player has like top cut basically every single Colombian event, and just like does not leave the country, which is kind of crazy. So they are like, that's like the type of thing that you see is like they're just low key really really good and just don't get to really don't really get to travel too much. Let's see if I can find it. The Victory Road tweet with the results.
Phenomenal Minecraft player too. Let's go. Multi-talented.
Yeah. Okay, look at this. They got top 4 in the 2019 Bogota Special Event, top 8 in the 2018 Bogota Special Event, champion of the 2017 Bogota Special Event, and 2016 Nationals top 4 in Colombia. And I don't think they've gone to a single event outside of Colombia, but that is a crazy set of results for someone who like has presumably never qualified for Worlds or like left the country to play Pokemon, and just like has been farming all of these Colombian events, including what I assume is the biggest Colombian event so far.
Yeah, they have a Worlds invite.
They do have a Worlds invite
now.
I imagine it'd be hard, I guess to travel to Japan, but maybe they can, maybe there's an online tour that'll give a free trip out or something.
Do they get the travel award for LATAM? No.
No.
They might to the next IC, but that is a little dubious because you'll have LATAM players playing at NAIC.
There's one more regional
Right.
as well, and there was a regional the previous weekend in Brazil, I think, or no, in Buenos Aires. Sorry. And so there's like 4 regionals essentially over in LATAM, and you probably have to do a little more than winning one, along with locals, which a lot of areas do have locals in LATAM too. And I don't know about Colombia. I think Paul Ruiz was talking about how Ecuador doesn't have locals. I'm not sure if Colombia falls in the same boat of not having official tournaments there, or having official locals there. But yeah, day 2 is not like super crazy for Latin America, and so if they were to travel to one more regional and also do well there, maybe they have a chance to get the paid trip.
Right.
So, but yeah, do we have any standout? Okay, the one standout team I will say, we talked about the Dunsparce Klefki Annihilate team that did well at Malmo a few weeks ago. This time we got a little more standard looking Klefki Annihilate team that got second place at this tournament by Aldo, who is a Mexican player. And I want to see if they tweeted out their team. Looks like they did not, but it's also like a pretty cool take on a similar core that I think is maybe a little underutilized. Honestly, we saw like a very, very strange version of it do well at Malmo. This is a more standard version of it doing very, very well over at Bogota.
Yeah, I think that it just shows that Ape is one of the best recipients of like major damage reduction. There's like a lot of like defensive teams, but they don't play around like damage reduction as hard. Like the teams that involve King Lu, Arcanine, Amoonguss, those like standard types, Gyarados or what have you. They definitely have ways to mitigate damage, but screens, Wisp, and Ting Lu here. I mean, I guess it's kind of the same thing. I don't know. The screens is the big difference maker here with Klefki. And Annihilate can really put a lot of pressure on it if it's one of those Pokemon that don't have damage to just clear from the board. The Rage Fist stacks start adding up. Bulk Up increases its longevity, so does Drain Punch. And so it's definitely the Pokemon to put behind screens, in my opinion.
Yeah. Any other teams standing out for you guys?
I mean, Gothitelle in top 4.
I'm a big fan of the Worm Screamtail team in top 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wonder if they, again, I'm always curious because they didn't have the open team sheets public, but I'm curious if they, anyone shared it. It does not look like this player shared it. But yeah, Worm Screamtail, interesting combination. Not a Pokemon that, especially with like Talonflame as well. I guess Talonflame is another Pokemon that you can Earthquake next to, but not a Pokemon that really does damage. Same with Screamtail. Screamtail can maybe Howl for the Ting Lu and for the Dragonite, which is kind of cool. For the Orthworm, if you want to heavy slam things real hard. So maybe that's the synergy. But Worm teams,
I watched a game of them on stream, at least, and I believe that they were often leading the Talonflame Earthworm. So I guess the option to Will-O-Wisp or Taunt or Tailwind for the Earthworm to get off that Shed Tail were pretty interesting options to have. On top of, you can always just do something standard like leading Ting Lu and Earthworm. But Talonflame, yeah, like you said, another Earthquake partner. Sometimes a sub isn't enough, and you do need speed control. Bundle is still a Pokemon that can kind of hang over your head if you don't do that. So it's pretty cool to see, pretty interesting, and I could see Talonflame providing some unique support.
I do want to point out, Audie, that Hal does not go through sub.
Mm-hmm.
So weird. Why? Who decided this?
It is.
So
a
I'm
sound
curious to see. I'm curious to see what the Screamtail set really was, because there is a bit of anti-synergy between Howl and Shedtail.
Yeah, I feel that.
I think that like the core Earthworm is you're always going to see Flutter, Earthworm, Ting Lu, Dragonite, and then we've seen a bunch of other Pokemon that you can put next to it. But I think that maybe the idea is you don't bring Screamtail when you are bringing the Earthworm mode, and this gives you like a second way to play the team, and you just start playing like Screamtail support for your Ting Lu, Dragonite, Flutter main team. I don't know.
If I put my own Screamtail behind a sub and I click Howl, does my Screamtail dodge the Howl?
No, it would still work on itself. Goth,
the
Goth making a comeback in top four was also cool. I don't know if we've seen exactly those 6 on a Gothadel team, but pretty cool.
Yeah. Again, Gothitelle, another Pokemon that I've like done a lot of exploration for personally, and I think that like you're always putting the hands next to it, you're always putting the Fluttermane on the team. The last 3 are you got to figure out what the approach you want to take is, and it hasn't seen a ton of success. And I haven't seen a ton of success with it, so I don't know. I might have to look into this team a little more, see if they talked about it. But Chempad Dragonite definitely popped off at Hartford and is pretty well positioned. And the idea of saying I'm going to lead Gothitelle and Dragonite and just like trap in whatever you have, and if it doesn't resist normal, I mean, good luck. So that might be a cool approach to it as well. You can always switch out the Gothitelle to get the power boost as well. So.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd the tab go? I've got too many tabs.
So let's talk about Lima then.
Yeah.
Lima was won by Matthias Diaz, Matthias Diaz, with a team of Fluttermane, Glamora, Chi-Yu, Bundle, Tatsugiri, and Dondozo. We have seen some Dondozo teams look like this. Sometimes you see a Dragonite in the, I want to say, Fluttermane slot. That's what Lexar was using back at like EUIC. And yeah, it's just kind of a Dondozo team that likes to use strong special offense to open up or clean up games, depending on what order you want to do things. But a team that you still got to be respecting. As you can see, it's still winning tournaments.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, playing against the Dozo just feels like playing whack-a-mole. Like
I've always said this.
It's just like it's just I've said this in Series 1. Playing with or playing against the Dozo is just an exercise in team building, and then you trade team sheets and you just like discuss who wins. And then you just like say,
that's how I play whack-a-mole.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, you have Clear Smog Amoonguss? I guess I can't beat that. Good game. Like, oh, you have Haze Palafin? Yeah, I've teched out for Haze Palafin. I'm gonna beat that one. It's kind of silly, but like as the metagame evolves, I think Dozo always has a place in it because it can always beat like specific individual teams and specific individual pieces of counterplay. It's just a question of can it beat all the counterplay or can you hit your matchups? And
it is like just the least Pokemon.
it is the least Pokemon
in a long time.
It is so against VGC because like it just reduces the game to a 2v1, and the fact that you can do it at any point, and if you target the Tatsugiri slot, oops, you whiffed those moves. God, I hate this Pokemon. This Pokemon's just so anti-fun. It's just so stupid.
What do you mean protect, protect, attack is riveting gameplay?
And I have to see the leftovers after every turn, and the fact that if 2 of them do find themselves across from each other, neither player has any agency. They are both locked into the field. Like, what? There should be like a shadow tag kind of gentleman's thing, like where like if 2 shadow tag Pokemon are across from each other, they can switch out. But I think if the Dondozos are, they should be able to like say like, let's drop this facade, let's get rid of these guys, let's get out of here. Like it's just you are actually holding the players hostage. That they did opt into it though by running Dondozo. Magnezone in top 4 is pretty cool to see. It's like on like a weird off balance team. It's like, yeah, no, I got my Fire Water Grass with Arcanine, Palafin, Flutter, and Brute Bonnet.
I see an Amoonguss.
And Brute Bonnet, and it's like we run mushrooms in this slot, I guess, right? I mean, there's another Brute Bonnet. Oh, it's the exact same team now that I'm going down. Yeah. I was like, there's another Brute Bonnet on a similar looking. Oh yeah.
Wait, this player got top 16 at Worlds in 2017. Damn.
Yeah, I played them.
Oh shit.
Actually, this top cut, I played 3 of them at 2017 Worlds.
I think that Peru is maybe the like most underappreciated region or country for Pokemon. It's like a super stacked region. Although it is funny that the top 2 of this tournament in Peru were Chilean players. They've just got so many good players. Renzo Navarro, of course, also using Magnezone. He's Players Cup 4 champion. Let's see. I don't think he shared the pace. I assume these guys built it together, and I think they said that they were going to use it at the special event next week. So hopefully we get a team for it afterwards, because this looks like a really cool team to see what it's trying to do.
Let's see if Magnezone can earn a medal. Get that nice shiny gold medal.
I think it's a special event next week, so I don't think you even get a medal for it. But I don't actually know.
Do you what? It's just prize money that's gone. I thought you could definitely still win.
I thought you got
trophy.
Probably
medals.
can. I don't know. I don't like. I'll tell you, the special event I went to in Cancun was not giving away medals. I'll tell you that. We're not giving away bricks. So
That is disappointing.
yeah.
Okay. Can't say I can speak with authority on this subject, so.
It might be up to the organizer's discretion, rather than official medals like regionals get. But yeah, Brute Bonnet coming out in. Oh, it's the same team, right? They have a Brute Bonnet on it.
You just did the same thing.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, this seems cool. This maybe the only like cool team in Top Cut. The other teams are like pretty standard. We see Hontalerno doing well, getting in 9th place, just bubbling this tournament. But I believe that Juan was using a similar team at the last 2 events and also made day 2 at those events. So a lot of consistency there. We see another rain team, just like Zomog's team. It is Zomog's team, right? In top 16.
No, this is actually none of the above.
Yeah.
No, straight up. I mean, like technically, this isn't what Zomog ran or what Matty Moo
Right,
ran.
because they had a Goldengo on the team. Yeah.
Goldengo was on the version that Zomog ran, and Palafin was on the version that Matty Moo ran. And so this is actually the original 6 that Gavin brought to Portland and got top 8 with, I believe. Is Portland the right tournament?
So apparently, someone did actually tweet out their version of the Magnezone team, that they got 5-2 at the Lima special event.
Leftovers. Who's got time for leftovers on the Brute Bonnet? Analytic helping hand. Let's go. Clap your magnets together. We're boosting the damage out here. Okay. Terra Water. But Terra Flying's so free on this guy. Ugh. I mean, maybe it's important to resist, like, fire moves from Chi-Yu. Sure. Okay. Yeah, no, this looks pretty real. This looks like a fine 6 Pokemon. And the Magnezone I'm running Helping Hand is not something I would have expected to be one of the first moves to be on it or whatever.
Whoops. How do I unpin a comment? Unpin this message. Yeah, okay, I got it. All right. Yeah. Okay, just gonna save this so I can ladder with it later.
Of course.
Yep. If anyone has a team they want me to steal for Fresno Regionals, hit me up. Anyway, this is
You're going to be one of 5 people at that regional.
yeah, and I'm gonna be the only one using Magnezone. That's not even true. It's a West Coast regional. There's probably gonna be like a dozen Magnezone in the room. We saw Zach Emerizian using Reverum. It's not that much of a jump to go to the other quirky steel type. Anyways, so do we have any other?
We have, I think, one more topic to talk about before we get into the previews of the upcoming stuff. I guess this one's like borderline upcoming. Pokemon Home.
It's happening right now.
Pretty much. Like it went down for maintenance like I think like an hour and a half ago or something, for like about 6 hours in total. And so when when this is over, some point tonight it'll be done. They said that they're going to be slowly letting players access the service, and I mean that's not terribly important for us to like all get in there immediately. Important to note that I think I saw DeWabbleFet tweeted that that we shouldn't see any crazy egg move distribution come out of the Pokemon Home being like allowed now, but we do get Pixie Plate.
There are, as far as I know, there are 4 things that you get from Pokemon Home. The plates, so not just Pixie Plate, but all the plates, although I believe Fairy is the only type that does not have a type boosting item, right?
I guess that's relevant in case you wanted to like have multiple, I don't know, electric boosting items or something.
Hey, we've seen double ice. What if I want to run icy plate and icy whatnot on a team?
I was thinking water's the most common item, like Mystic
like
Water,
3 of them.
Palafin. But there's like that's pretty much it, Justin. It's like Palafin's always running Mystic Water. I'm surprised I haven't seen more Wavens says Palafin. Why not? Is that legal? Maybe it's
one's
not.
better. What's the other one? There's Wave Incense and
Splash Plate. Then there's
There's 2 instances.
See,
that
see,
gets
There is
swapped.
The
C instance and wave. Okay. One I think is for Mantech and one is for Azumarill or Azurill.
All right. Someone make a poll asking which item to run in Palafin. Which of the 4 items you're using.
You have 4 choices.
Well, I don't even know if they're legal. That's what the information I need to know because I have not seen a wave instance Palafin, and so now I'm just
yeah.
wondering is this even in the game?
Well, is Mantike in the game, right? Because if there's not, then why would you have it?
I guess that's fair.
Right.
That's a good point.
Instances have disappeared. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh no.
That explains it.
That's so sad.
Yeah, there was some that boosted other types like grass, like Rose, I think.
How am I going to run Rose Instance on my Rillaboom so people spend an extra 15 seconds looking it up?
Mm-hmm.
Now you can use a grassy plate or whatever.
So yeah, the main application of this is a number of people want to run Pixie Plate on Fluttermane. The fact that we don't have a just regular fairy type damage boosting item at this point is like super weird. I don't know. Is it a balance decision? Is it because they just don't want to code it in? I don't know. But we still don't have Fairy Dust or whatever the fairy boosting item should be. Pixie Dust, and so we have Pixie Plate coming, and it means that you can run a Fluttermane that has Protect. Not like the Choice Specs one, while also running Booster Energy on your Iron Bundle. Usually you would have to kind of decide, like, am I running Choice Specs Flutter, Booster Energy Flutter, and then, like, my bundle has to be Sasher off the team. Yeah, I don't know. It is nice to have the option, I guess, and it is something that you have to consider going into Milwaukee just because Fluttermane is, like, the number 1 Pokemon in usage, so it's something that it can do now.
Yeah. The other 3 things that are added to the game, there are 3 moves that now Pokemon can learn. You can run Barbarage on your Quillfish, Psyshield Bash on your Stantler, and Raging Fury on your Arcanine, because these are moves that I believe are egg moves that you can only learn from their Hisuian evolutions, and now you can transfer those Hisuian Pokemon over. Of course, Hisuian, Arcanine, the Weirdeer, and whatever the Quillfish Evo is, are not actually legal, as far as I know. There is like one other implication, which I think is that you maybe can use the form of Basculin that allows you to put an Eviolite on it. Not 100% sure about that. Don't quote me on that. We'll find out really soon.
I think that's White Stripe?
Yeah, it's like White Stripe. It's like slightly different than other like ways the forms are noted, so I'm not sure if you're allowed to use that in VGC or not. Yeah, the main thing is if you want to run Fire-type Outrage on your Arcanine, it is now legal. Or it will be by the time this goes up on YouTube.
You don't want Flare Blitz Recoil.
Right.
That's your go-to.
I mean,
honestly, do I want to target the Fluttermane or the Amoonguss? Let's just decide for me, please.
Just pick.
Just pick.
I will say, Psyshield Bash, maybe like one of the worst moves ever. Just like ever made, period. It's got base 70 power, base 90 accuracy, and it boosts your defense stat when you click into it. Also, it's a Psychic type move, and Stantler is a normal type, so it doesn't even get stab on it. It is just a dog shit move. I don't know what the point of this move is.
Yeah, you'll
Even
be changing your mind when we have Wordeer. And you can click it and boost your defense on top of Intimidating. And then you set Trigger because you just never take physical.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It sounds awesome.
Give Stantler Body Press. That's all I gotta say.
Was there another thing that is coming to the game, Adi?
Yeah, it's Barbarage Quillfish. That's it. I don't even know what that move does.
Oh wait, so when you said there was 4 things, 3 of them were the moves.
Three moves plus the Pixie Plate. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's just like one thing.
Okay. Hisuian Arcanine is gonna be cool.
What were some of the other home links I have here? Anything important? I can't remember. I think that was that one from Nerd of Now earlier that we started talking about at the beginning of the stream before things.
Yeah, we were chatting about this on stream. The way that it is phrased on the Pokemon website is very interesting. It says that when a Pokemon is brought from home into a linked game, you'll be able to change the moves it knows from a list of moves that it's learned up to that point. And these moves are limited to the moves that can be learned on Sword and Shield, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, with some moves excluded, Legends Arceus, and Scarlet and Violet. Notably, it does not just say Scarlet and Violet, and so that means that you will be able to transfer over moves from these other games. However,
I don't think we know that yet. And because when you transferred into BDSP, it would wipe the moves. Same with,
the phrasing of this indicates that you will not wipe the moves. When you transferred that over to Sword and Shield, it didn't wipe the moves, but you needed to get the Battle Ready mark to be able to use them. And that wipes the moves, right? And so I think that we will probably see the same
how it
mechanic.
actually works. Because, this is like this is probably translated from some memo they got from Japan, and they have mistranslated stuff before. And most recently, they have mistranslated the release date of this app. So, like, I wouldn't take that with a big grain of salt, because that does not work. That's not how Pokemon Homes worked in the past. And it's just such big of a change that you have to take it with a grain of salt until we actually see what it does.
Well, we'll be knowing in a couple of days. Unfortunately, it just doesn't line up with the podcast that we do here on Mondays,
You'll just have to wait until next week to find out whether or not you can use these Pokemon.
Yes, everybody will have to tune in for one more week.
I guess so.
There's no way to find out until next Monday at 7 p.m. Central Time.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find out in Milwaukee. There will be something you can bring in if this is the case.
Listen, Didi just expanding forced me while clicking Trick Room. Ah!
It definitely isn't allowed to do that. That's not a combination of moves it's allowed to have.
Oh, no. See, you guys misunderstood. There was an Oranguru next to it that clicked Instruct. So it clicked both in the same turn.
No, it's just not allowed to have Trick Room and Expanding Force. You can't use Trick Room if you transferred it over.
Oh!
Yeah.
I guess so.
So even if transfer moves are illegal, Indeedee is somewhat hamstrung with that.
Rising Voltage Pin Kirchen the Mon is finally viable.
It's finally here.
Viable.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Again, Basculin's the other one that I have looked at and thought maybe this is actually okay, but I'm not sure if that's going to work. We'll see about this with moves. Again, you'll find out hopefully by the time this is up on YouTube. It'll all be released hopefully, but we'll see. There's rumors that we're going to be able to use Pokemon Home Mons in Regulation D. Obviously, that's just speculation, but that's what I think things really start to get interesting.
It's going to be stupid. I mean, honestly, are we going to find out tonight?
I think so.
Like if I'm going to be up late, am I going to find out when the 6-hour maintenance ends? Am I going to know sometime after that? Who knows? I guess maybe.
Try to break it. See if you can put see if you can bring Expanding Force and Indeedee onto the Battle Spell ladder. That's the stress test that we really need.
Yes.
I mean, you can already do that.
That's the joke. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I don't know what else there is to say about home. I think we'll have a lot more to say when it's actually out and we get to determine if it has any impact on the metagame, and also if it actually ends up being relevant to VGC. Are we going to get these mons in the game for Worlds or not until after Worlds? We're just waiting here for Regulation D to be announced. We're all kind of waiting, and the rules end in June. We already know what Nats is going to be played on, but the end of June is when the Regulation C ends on Battle Stadium, and so certainly sometime in June they're going to tell us what the next rule set is going to be, and so we will know what Worlds is likely going to be hosted on. So I think it's just a matter of days.
Oh shit. There's a casino right near the Milwaukee venue. Speaking of Milwaukee venue, let's talk about Milwaukee. So there is
going out of order.
Oh, is there? Oh, there's Turin. There's Turin. Okay, fine. We can talk about Turin.
Yeah. So we're not going to have a lot to say about Turin. So
there is a special event in Europe, and I think this is the last special event, or is there one more afterwards for Europe?
I thought it was the last.
So potentially the last event for Europe, chance to lock up your World's invite other than through locals. Let's see if we have the list.
Maluka, no! Maluka said, Paldean Prologue, please. No! I do not want the Paldean Prologue.
Yeah, so this looks like the last event for Europe. So I guess we should probably respect it a little bit more than we were giving it credit for, because I think a lot of people are going to be gunning for their Worlds invite at this event, and we could maybe look at who needs to do what, assuming they don't go to NAIC, of course, which is a lot of Europeans I'm sure will be attending. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a big event. It looks like there's 784 Masters at the capacity, so just barely short of that top 256 championship points. And 64 seniors, 32 juniors. Special events, of course, are free entry and have no prizing for the winner, but there is going to be some TCG booster boxes or booster packs given out to the top players. But this is obviously just a huge event for the day 2 race in Europe, and for just getting your Worlds invite in Europe. And so I'm curious if who is attending, and I don't know what else do we want to talk about.
So, wait, their day 2 goes down to top 16?
Yeah.
That's all the way down to 478 CP.
So basically, like, you get 500 championship points, you get a day 2 invite. Congrats! Like it's like, you know, oh, congrats, you showed up to 3 events in Europe, and here's your day 2 invite.
Seriously, come on, guys.
They really just give it to anyone who shows up to a second internet, you know.
Well, if you're going to that many internets, you know, yeah, you should probably be gunning for it at the very least, right?
Yeah, but
I mean, that's
the thing.
You would think.
There's so many Americans showed up to 2 internets, and like some of them are gonna miss the top 8, and the bar is gonna be like, literally the bar is gonna be higher than the number 1 player in Europe. I'm pretty sure the 8th right now is higher than the number 1 player in Europe. Like, it is very silly. We've harped on this a lot. We don't got to talk about how Europe gives out free day 2 invites anymore. I don't know. What do we want to talk about for Turin? I guess let's look at the European Championship point standings and see who might be in contention for a day 1 invite, because their bar is 250, I believe, right?
Yes, it's lower than ours.
That one's more reasonable. I don't care if they give out a million day 1 invite. They genuinely do have fewer events. But I guess Francisco Pardini is a really big name that, you know, is I think he's top cut Worlds before. Did he top cut Worlds last year? He won.
I think he did.
Right, like he's won a Nationals before. Like, he's a very good player, big streamer, and it looks like he's, you know, got to get some points for a Worlds invite. So hold on. So I don't know how this is news to you, but I think the day 2 race has always been about going to the ICs. So there's this thing called the BFL, and normally it limits the number of tournaments you can have, and I believe the Nationals best finish limit is like 4. The internet's best finish limit, and there are 4 of them. There's 3.
So if you go to a lot of them,
3 of them. There's not 4 of them.
Yeah, well, for certain games, there's 4 of them. And I think if you attend them all, that's a good way to get a lot of championship points. And if you get a lot of championship points, usually you can end up in the day 2 race.
There's busted payout for ICs.
It is so funny looking at like the players who are in contention for North America, because you've got like Wolf at 9th place, who's like won a regional and top cut 4 more, and then you've got Colin at 8th place, who has like top 128, top 64, top 128, top 64, but has done well at every internet. And that's just it. That's just what matters for day 2.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, again, there's a lot of very good players who are just barely missing the cutoff in Europe. Bartosz is, of course, a really good player. Now Siak online. Francisco needs to win a Premier Challenge to get it, or has to do well at this event. I recognize Florian and Fabian, as well as our very accomplished players. Sanvi is another very accomplished player who needs to just get points from this event to make Worlds, unless they are going to NAIC or have a lot of locals remaining. Is Frederick the Nidoking guy, or is that someone else?
I
Someone
think.
else.
Okay.
Wait, which Nidoking guy from like 2018 or?
Yeah, that guy. He's Norwegian, right?
Yeah, he's like Jens or something.
Okay.
Jens. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I see Pontus on this list. I see Andrea Pagano on this list. Another Joan Garcia on this list. I don't know how many of these are going to this event, but there's a lot of players in Europe who, you know, are gonna have to just get points. Not like go crazy, win this event. but a lot of players who are just barely short of a Worlds invite who need to show up and do reasonably well.
Man, people are talking about quantity over quality. Maybe the fix we need is like anti-championship points if you do poorly. You need to be able to go negative if you show up to an event and don't place.
Really
All right, never mind. I'm not gonna continue. I'm not gonna
Don't give
continue
them any
on this
ideas.
train.
Well,
I'm not
okay.
gonna continue.
Don't give them ideas.
Wasn't it like, didn't TCG do the thing where like you got points based on your ELO rating? You got day 2 invites, or like Nationals qualifiers a long time ago.
Bro,
know
it was
about
just Worlds invites back then. There was no day 2 or day 1.
Okay, because I heard that like people would scoop out of Nationals once they got to a requisite ELO. They'd just be like, "Yeah, I'm dropping," because they didn't want to risk losing a Worlds invite because they did poorly in day 2.
3-0 and drop. That's what you would do.
So,
Amazing.
So yeah, it's maybe an ELO system is not the play to determine who gets a Worlds invite.
Yeah, negative CP is the answer. Yes. Okay. So I don't know if there's anything else. We're actually not even talking about Turin at this point, so let's just move on.
Wait,
and talk about
who's your smart money for Turin? Everyone, quick, smart money for Turin.
quick, name a European player.
Mike D'Angelo.
I can tell you for a fact that
Name a good European player.
Duck Pond will be on stream for finals.
Let's go, Duck Pond.
Is he casting?
He'll be the
smart money.
judge. Yeah, he's a judge. Shout out to Duck Pond. He's winning turn by not playing.
Okay.
My smart money is Leonardo Bononomi. Players Cup perennial runner-up in 16th place in Europe right now. So he's really got to pop off to guarantee his day 2 invite. So he's my smart money.
I'll go for Jamie Boyd. Jamie Boyd, who's fighting for just a Worlds invite, and I believe is looking to clinch it here, either with like a certain amount of placements to get it with like locals, or to just earn it outright. Hoping to see Jamie make a deep run. He's been using some fun stuff.
I guess I'll have a real pick. I think Marco Fierro. He's just
Number one in CP.
He's won first in CP. Has he won a tournament this year?
No, I don't think so.
Shit.
Yeah, he's gonna win. He's gonna win this weekend.
All
All right. I like it.
Boyd
Put
needs
money on
like a
Maurice
crazy
again.
finish. Who'd you got?
What did you say, Tommy?
I said you could put money on Maurice again. I think he ranges from like doing pretty good to like regional winning, and I think he's on hot right now. He's hot right now.
Yeah, he got top 4 at Malmo, right?
Yep.
I'm looking at Boyd.
With
He's at
a
150.
Toros.
He needs to get 100 points. So he's got to get top 8, or he's got to get.
Well,
some
he's been
local victories.
He's been casting a lot of events, right?
Yeah.
So
Boyd's been
he's not
casting.
really like playing full. Yeah.
What about Ivar? Anyone rooting for Ivar? The sports guy?
Oh, of course.
Also-
if he's attending, yeah.
I don't know if he's attending or not. But he is in contention. I think he's already probably capped out on locals. But yeah, so that's gonna wrap up Turin. Obviously going to be watching. I think that it's still unconfirmed if this event will be streamed. It says Victory Road. Well, if Victory Road doesn't know if it's gonna be streamed, I don't think it's gonna be streamed. But Justin might have lied about Duck Pond being on stream for the finals. If
they're
there's
not
no stream.
streaming.
I don't know if they're streaming it or not.
Oh, that's fine.
But the other big event that's happening, of course, is Milwaukee Regionals this weekend. And so this is the second to last North American regional. We still have one more 2 weeks later in Fresno. But this is going to be maybe Fresno, really hard to access. Milwaukee is a lot easier to get to. Traditionally, this regional was held in Madison, Wisconsin, until very recently, where they moved it to Milwaukee. Madison venue, absolutely beautiful. Also my first regional top cut, so it's a very special place for me. Milwaukee is not nearly, in my opinion, as fun a city, but they do have a lot of good breweries, and they do have some sports teams, and there is nothing else notable about the city, which is why the meme, if I could find it, was 4 attended cupos out of 5. But
They don't have the farmers market that Madison does.
yeah,
That was lit.
that was great.
You get lunch break was lunch. It was like the best place to have a lunch break at because you just get to walk outside and there's just so many like grilled cheese vendors made with like the Wisconsin special cheese or whatever. I don't know. It's good though.
I will say the
It's like
Milwaukee Riverwalk is really nice. I think it looks. I'm looking at the map. I spent a summer in Wisconsin in college for an internship. I do not remember where where the Riverwalk starts, but like you are pretty close to the lake, so I imagine that you are pretty close to the and right next to the river. So this is actually a pretty nice area of Milwaukee, all things considered. And so it should be a fun place to go to. And then a lot of people, of course, are flying to Chicago and then asking Alex for a ride. A lot of people are flying to Minneapolis or flying to Detroit or Indianapolis or whatever, and finding a way to get to Milwaukee that way. It's Midwest, obviously, just generally has a lot of VGC players, and so this is going to be a really big regional. Do we know how many people are attending?
It's like 500.
Oh.
600, I believe. Let me pull
Getting
up
up there.
the dashboard. I don't know if this one ever capped or not. Can't say for certain. But last I checked, the number was like pretty close to 600 on the dot. It is now at 620. I'm seeing on the site now. That's of course mixed division and does not include no shows or anything. So probably looking at safely over 500 masters in attendance.
Mm-hmm. And so as a result, not the biggest regional ever, but we did give it a 4 out of 5 because I think this is a regional that a lot of people are going to be showing up for. A lot of people are going to. A lot of the very good players are going to be competing for their day 2 invites and really finding this is the last chance to get those last few points that they need to lock that up. A lot of players who are just on the cusp of getting a Worlds invite are going to be really fighting really hard for that and bringing their best team, their most refined versions of their team. And then there's people like Alex who have nothing, and Justin who have nothing to play for but are showing up anyways.
Showing up anyways. We got the heat though, so if you're in charge of the stream, definitely grab one of us.
Don't grab me. I'm gonna go like 2-3 again. I don't know.
All right, grab Justin
That's
at
crazy.
2-3. It would be really cool to stream a 2-3 game. They don't do that often enough.
But okay,
That's
you know when
true.
they did do that? Fucking
I
Madison
know. It
Regionals.
was my wait, Madison?
Yeah, okay. No. Oh, you're talking about like the U.S.
Where was
National side.
this?
No. At Madison Regionals 2018, this was, again, my first regional cut, so I actually got to go on stream for the first time. First off, super scuffed because they played on a regional, on a streaming 2DS. And so one player had to plug their game into a 2DS. It was awful. Thankfully, it was not me, but Brian Yum, who I was playing against, was complaining about it the entire time while I was kicking my ass. And they had to like hold up a piece of cardboard in between the games. But also, they just like, the casters just put their friends on stream, and this was like an unofficial stream, of course. So like, the casters put, I think they put Yihui and someone else, I think, or was it Darevon? And they put them on at like 1-1. Just like, yeah, we're just going to put our friends on stream, even though they're like, don't have a great record. So they did that. And then also, this was the regional that a caster who will not be named after day 1 insulted Gavin on Twitter, just like talked a bunch of shit, and then got dropped from the broadcast before day 2. So we got a rich history at the Milwaukee Regionals broadcast booth, just doing random shit.
Good times, man.
Yeah, no, I was referencing the time where like they filmed a special on Steven Morioka, but like streamed him at like 03 at Worlds because they didn't want to waste the special that they like filmed on him. And I was like, well, you're supposed to just grab him earlier. They didn't, and it was cruel.
I love intricate VGC lore.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what we're here for.
the lore that I heard about that one was that 2 other players who will not be named were also had recorded segments for that, and then they were like posted on social media of them like hitting a bong or something. I forget. I don't want to be quoted on that. But they just like, as a result, they were like, actually, we cannot possibly stream these players. And cannot use this broadcast, and so they had to stream Steven and no one else.
They just needed to do it earlier. I don't know why they didn't do it earlier.
Stay on topic.
Okay. Anyways,
Should we go through the history of the like Wisconsin regionals?
I do have
Yeah.
that in the doc. I have it in the doc, so
Oh, you have it in the
maybe
doc. Okay.
maybe that's topical.
I can name it by okay, we actually just have the history. So of course we got
Hold
2022.
up.
Go ahead.
Wait. Let's start like kind of earlier, because you only have up to 2017. I can just name off the winners from like previous ones.
Yeah, Limitless didn't have older ones, and I was like, there definitely were still hosting it in Madison back then, right? And like, was that like Colin and Colin?
Yeah, so 2013 I think was won by Zach Drakeham.
Oh yeah, okay. Bravarious, some know.
I think Wisconsin was the like no Eevees Mammo Swine that won.
Ooh, let's go, legendary.
I I don't quote me on that, but I think that was the Mammoth.
We're gonna have no quotable lines in this whole podcast, okay? Don't quote me on
Okay,
that.
you can't quote me on this one. 2014, 2015 was won by Colin, back to back. So
The
that's like
back-to-back champ.
that's 3 Wisconsin winners so far. So they were pretty good at defending early on. 2016 was won by Eshe, Diana Bros.
Yeah.
And then we have on Limitless we have the 2017, 2018, 2019.
Oh, Nimbasa has
Actually, who
2015 actually.
Didn't Paul win one year?
Yeah, this is
Paul won
Colin-
twice.
Colin
That was
won
the
twice.
the other thing is like we've had a few repeat winners. So like Colin won it twice back to back. Paul won it back to back. I think Zach might have won it back. I think Zach won in 2012 and 2013.
That sounds familiar.
All right, now we got
So-
teams from 2015 onwards. So I can actually.
This
pull
is
those
like
up.
this is like one of the best regionals to go back to back. So defending, I don't know if we won't have.
It's
I don't
Zhe,
think we'll
right?
have a back to back. Zhe's living in China right now, I think. So I don't think we'll have a back to back winner this time. But in the past, we have like had a lot of back to back winners.
Yeah. Hey, there's a.
And then
Comic
2018
Boom,
was won by
Cross.
2018 won by Andrew Nowak. Or 2017.
2017
was
was won by Drew with his Faramosa team. So this was a speed swap, right? Speed swap. There.
No,
No?
I don't know.
Fair
I
didn't
don't
get
even-
speed swap until Gen 8, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't even know if it had that move.
All right. I didn't play until post World 17. So I remember actually the reason I know this team is because I had to play Drew in a 2017 match at some point for like Wacko World Tour or something. So I remember like going through all his teams and like counter teaming him. And so I have actually played against this team. But I don't remember anything about it.
Like the Fight Z special Pharaoh, it had like the
Trick
like
Room
really
Nihiligo,
bulky
right?
Trick Room Nihiligo. I mean everything else was kind of standard.
Mhm.
2018 won
we
by
got,
Paul.
we got Terry Hong, my boy, in top 4. And we got Ken, I think. This is around the time that he won another regional, right? Philly regionals.
Love Ken.
Yeah, he won Philly 2016.
So this was.
So
during
this
his-
was. Well, he didn't do great like at the start of 2017, but like this was kind of his like comeback, like finally finding his footing in the format.
Love Ken.
And then he went on to do well at Worlds that year.
Yeah.
Ken's
20
so awesome.
2018. We have wait, who's that in 8th place? The best place to be in.
Oh my!
We got this is my first regional top cut, so again, very nostalgic. And first season
Those were
playing.
the one seed. Seed got a buy-in cut. They were kind of experimenting. They get the one seed gets a buy in top 8.
You
know?
want to hear how this happened? So I started out 5-0, and then I played Brian Yum at 5-0, who of course kicked my ass because I had no chalk matchup. This was on stream. You can go find that set if you really want to. And then I played Paul Chua, who's running the exact same team, and so I faced 2 auto losses in a row, and probably was not going to be Paul Chua realistically, anyways. But he beat me there. First of many times that Paul Chua has beaten me in important sets, and then but I remember telling Brian before the round, if he wins the pair down in the last round of Swiss, that I make the top cut anyways, because I had a crazy resistance this tournament because I'd beaten Ethan earlier in the tournament, and then I played Brian and Paul. And so he wins a set, and then I bubble in as the 8 seed, and of course I get to play Brian again and have the auto loss. And he really did get the bye in top 8. And so I faced.
He earned it.
Yeah,
he earned it.
He won a set and said, "Yeah, cool, I'm taking my bye." And he so I started out 5-0 and then lost to Chalk 3 times in a row, and that was my tournament experience. And this really was Chalk's tournament, of course, with Paul winning the tournament with Chalk.
Yep.
And back when we only had 7-round regionals.
I know,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, he said that he lost 3 in a row. I was like, wait, how did you cut it 5-3? But no, he's actually
he had
just
7-round regionals last year.
yeah. No, we did. Okay,
That's ancient history.
I caught a 7 regional last year too. Yeah.
we've kind of gone through
I was
the
losing
history
out.
sporadically, but let's go ahead and jump into the smart monies then.
Let's 2019 was kind of wild too. I could talk about my 2019 team even though I didn't do well, but This was also a
Well,
weird
then
Top
you
Cut.
don't talk about it, man. You didn't
No,
do
Talk
well.
about the
not-
top
no.
cut teams, bro.
Paul Chua winning again, 2019. Michael Lenzano coming out of nowhere. I didn't even know he still played, but coming second place. I don't remember that.
Who once again did well at
Mhm.
a Wisconsin regional.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Cedric still plays anymore. I think he's a Runeterra player now. But Chuppa, I think, is still attending this regional. I think. I'm not sure. Alyssa might be TOing this
Believe he
regional.
is.
Not sure about that. Then Hector is a SoCal player. I don't think he's attending. But yeah, kind of a interesting arrangement of players in Top Cut. Not many local
Definitely.
players in Top Cut for this one, other than Colin, of course, and maybe Michael. I don't know where he's from.
Yeah.
And then, of course, 2022, finally,
Yeah.
we had
Sorry.
Zhou winning. And Zhou was, of course, a huge, crazy story in last year, where I think he attended 2 regionals before that, didn't get any championship points from those 2 regionals. I think he went like 1-3 at. Was it you who played them? No, it was Nails who played them in like round 2 of Indianapolis and bodied him
no.
and hacks him out and was like, yeah, this guy was pretty good. I'm surprised he was 0-2.
Oh. No, I played him round 2 of that like Wisconsin, and he destroyed me, and I was like, wow, this guy's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he attended that. He attended like I think New Jersey regionals and didn't do very well there. It went like X3, and then came out of nowhere to not only win this regional but also win or get top 8 at NAIC. So just a really really crazy run from him. It sounds like he's back in China now, so not going to be defending his title, but yeah, definitely one of the especially 2 different teams too. One of the crazier runs that I've seen a VGC player make.
Yeah.
With 2, yeah.
And then Atmosphere, Indiana player, so another local Midwesterner. This was a week before NAIC, and so we did see some Europeans like Thomas and Oliver invade, and OE managing to get to top 4 at this event, along with James Evans, who is apparently a 2-time winner of this regional as a senior, is what he said in chat. So,
Nice.
Paul Chua, of course, a lot of the usual suspects out here in the rest of top 32, but this was a 8-round regional, I think.
Yeah, it was 8 rounds.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the bright powder tweet that came
Ooh.
out of this regional.
Do you have a link to that? I'll play that any day of the week.
Oh god, I gotta find it.
Which there's been a lot of bright powder tweets. Which one was
Oh
this?
no, there was one bright powder tweet.
There's one bright powder tweet, and this is
I'm-
why
I'm
I'll
thinking
always
of way
remember.
I'm thinking of way older ones.
But I'm gonna let Justin find the bright powder tweet while we talk about what we expect to see at Milwaukee. It's been like 2 weeks since the last regional. Do you guys expect any big metagame changes to happen in these last 2 weeks, or any things to really get shaken up?
Probably just more people running New Balance. That's the term kind of being used for that. Chi-Yu, Iron Hands, Gyarados, and then like Fluttermane, Amoonguss, and Ting Lu. It's just balance, but a little bit of a change to the fire and water. We've talked about it in the past couple episodes, and it's been around for a bit, but it's just getting even more popular with Wolf using it. I'm sure that there's quite the spotlight on it, and it has a lot of flexibility in the sets. You can use all kinds of different items and moves on it to create it to your style. Other than that, I don't know if there's any other like major. Obviously, Rain is going to see an uptick.
Might see
so
more rain.
I think
But
Chimpa
yeah.
Dragonite might see an uptick too after winning the regional. It was a little underutilized, I think, leading up to that, and Tang really took advantage of that by and exploited the fact that, especially, I think New Balance is inherently a little weak to that 2-mon core. Obviously, Wolf kind of got to show why it was weak to that on stream, and I imagine that those teams are going to be teching out for Chimpa Dragonite a little more, but that's definitely something that I'm going to see. I think I would see an uptick of as well. Yeah, I guess any other takes about Milwaukee regionals, or are we ready to do smart money?
I wouldn't be surprised if Palance kind of like surges up again, because I think the New Balance team is like kind of gives up its matchup for it and like in favor of being strong into like hyper offense stuff. I think like if you see a lot of Chi and Pale Dragonite, I think balance is pretty good into that. We might like kind of reach like a cyclical part of the meta where just we have our kind of rock paper scissors in terms of archetypes, but I think this is kind of the stretch of the season where the format starts to like kind of solidify. Like
I love when the formats get to rock paper scissors. Let's go. Restricted formats are the best.
I mean, I will say one other thing that we didn't, at least for 2018, 2019, 2022 Milwaukee or Wisconsin regionals, is that a lot of the bottom half of top 8 was players like making their first top cuts, getting their breakout performances. I saw, of course, I was there in 2018. I saw Alyssa and Hector, I think, get their first regional cuts in 2019, and then I saw like Chirayu and Chris were brand new top cut players, and Jia, to be honest, in 2022. So again, Midwest has a lot of players. It's a regional where I think we're going to see some players who you might not have seen a lot of success, either newer players or players who have been around for a while but have been really grinding this format, are going to show up and do quite well and make top cut, and then probably lose to Paul Chua in top cut.
Speaking of, let's move on to the smart monies then. Adi's really dragging it out, and it's time. I've been ready. We should start with, of course, the guests. Let's throw over to Tommy first. Tommy, who is your smart money for Milwaukee?
Dude, I'm just putting the smart money on myself. I like whatever.
Everyone does this.
I'm doing it.
You guys are all sickly.
I'm getting really close to the invite, and I like. Yeah, I got it.
You're allowed to do this, but you have to pick somebody else.
All right. The other person. Who else would I put smart money on?
Okay, we'll come back to you.
I know it. I'd put smart money on Sohaib as well.
Okay. Nothing wrong with picking a friend.
Yeah, he just had a really good run. He's on fire right now. He's like getting pretty hot.
Yeah, Sohaib has had a hot streak and top 4 at the last tournament with something close to resembling the winning team as well. Means that he is heads in the right place.
Right.
All right.
I wouldn't
Justin.
a big finish out of him.
I heard the beef y'all had, the love triangle you have with you Sohaib and Mike. You're trying to get back in his good graces.
All right, Justin, what do you got to say?
You know what? I'm gonna put my smart money on Paul Chua.
Paul Chua. All right.
He's gonna get a third win. I'm a big believer in you're very like I think if you do well in like a certain area, like you get comfortable and you do well again. And Paul, he's won this regional twice. I think that some other proof I have is that he top 4'd Worlds in London last year, and then in his return trip to London he wins EUIC. I think he'll be very comfortable in Wisconsin. It's like one of his homes away from home. I think he's gonna win the tournament.
All right. I guess since Adi's hosting, it'll be me first.
Yeah, go for it.
Before him, and Justin stole mine. I was going to say Paul Chua, but of course, since I was picking Paul Chua, I knew I had to have a backup.
I was also going to say Paul Chua, and I was also going to say Sohan. Those are my.
All right. Well, I hope I steal.
If you take my third choice,
Paul Chua and Sohaib, just too strong.
All right, Adi, do you have yours?
Yeah, I have a third.
Okay. Let's on 3 say it just to see if we can really. So Justin, count us down.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Colin higher. Get fucked, Adi.
A 4th.
I can smell it coming. Mainly because I was picking something that seemed like a pretty easy pick for this one. After Paul, I was going with some pretty. I'm not going outside the box for this one. So Adi, I really want to know who's your 4th pick.
Who's my 4th choice? Who's going to round out top 4 of this regional? Hold up, let me pull up the North American standings real quick. So while I'm thinking of a new person, I will say that We said we were going to keep track of smart monies after I nailed the UIC and then also nailed Portland Regionals, and then I called Wolf doing really well at Hartford. So I'm really kind of popping off here, and I think that I'm going to keep popping off because for Milwaukee Regionals, I'm picking Zachary Thornburg. You know, he's due. He's been getting top 8 pretty consistently. I've heard he's cooking up some heat. I don't know what it is, but everyone keeps talking up this team that he's been cooking up. So I think he's gonna do well. I think that Zach is gonna have a big performance this weekend.
He's he's like been pretty consistent the whole format. Like
yeah, he's got a couple top 8s under his belt. He's been killing it in day 2. I think he said he went 5-0 in day 2 in both regionals he cut. So I'm here for it. Let's see it.
Yeah, I remember him having a lot of strong showings early. I don't remember how well Zach's been doing in Regulation C. I can't. Maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. I'm just maybe misremembering. But I know that Zach definitely can make a deep run. I guess I realized I never explained mine, but Colin obviously just good in Wisconsin. That is a pretty self-explanatory one. Colin lives there and is very close to Milwaukee, so would not be surprised to see him do well. He's also been putting a lot of work in. Hung out with him this weekend at the local, and yeah, he's just very comfortable right now with the game. So
I heard he kicked your ass at the local. In fact,
that's true, honestly. But I mean, if he takes you to Raising Cane's afterwards, does it even matter? No.
all right.
Yeah, I guess that's gonna do it. Those are our smart monies, though. We've got Paul Chua, Soheim, Colin, and Zach Thornburg. So I guess because it's really just all competitive. It's just us versus each other. You know, let's see how next week who's the most right. And when Adi's the most wrong, well, he'll be really quiet, I'm sure. To be fair, though, Adi was severely
in my
stolen.
That's 3.
He was severely.
Really, I'm taking credit regardless of who wins because I kind of called all 4.
Make sure to pick Gavin, whoever the guest is, pick Gavin before Adi does for Fresno.
Yeah, you're right.
Gavin's just too easy a pick for Fresno. Listen, there's like 3 total good players going to Fresno. You know, like you want to pick Gavin, you want to pick Emilio. Like you only who else are you gonna pick? Alberto.
You're gonna have to break the yourself rule.
Yeah, if I go 4th, it's like who's the 4th best player going to this regional? Actually, no, it's Choppa. Choppa's the 4th best player going to the regional. Okay, we figured it out.
We figured it. We got there.
We got there. Yeah. All right. So with that,
so smart money for Fresno already done.
Smart money for Fresno already done. Sorry if you're coming on to the channel 2 weeks from now when we do Fresno recap preview. You're not gonna get your smart money. We already did it. All right. Let's jump over to the calculator and do the calc is right. And so Tommy, I forgot to mention this, but I hope you came with a damage calc ready.
Give me a second. I know one,
okay.
But I have to double check it.
All right.
Why don't we can come back to it?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
All right. So the calc is in the spirit of Pokemon Home coming out this week.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a Pokemon Home calc. All right. So max special attack, modest, so 252 plus. Choice specs, transistor, Beads of Ruin, Terra Electric, Regieleki, using Electroweb on a Regidrago in electric terrain with no bulk investment.
Do you have a paste of it, or maybe I guess Adi's like in the middle of starting to plug it in, but maybe I guess he can't because then he would get. Yeah, I guess you can't because you get the answer.
I can paste it.
Yeah, paste the no spoiler one in there just so that chat can follow along. But let's start thinking. Let's start cooking up our answers.
I'm not logged in right now, so I'll need you to move it from like our text for voice.
Oh, I can grab it for you. All right. It looks like we. Oh yeah, forgot to mention. I don't know if you did say it out loud. Maybe you did, Burns. The Terra 60 base power boost, of course.
Oh, well, that was implied. That was implied.
That was implied. Guys, here's the calc in question. So, with that, I've got my number. Maybe it's too high, but all right. I'm locked in.
All right,
Tommy, you got a number?
Where are we putting it?
Just
no, you just in your head.
right out loud.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So then, Justin, you just calling us.
All right, so Tommy.
I think it's gonna do like 88.
Are you kidding me? 88 was my exact number.
All right, so Alex says 88. What do you say?
No. I gotta go above or below. I'll go below because I think maybe I'm thinking too high. So we'll go like 86. I'm dropping it by 2.
I had 77 as my number.
All right. Well, it looks like I've
Hold
stumped all
on.
of you. Oh,
Okay. Oh, you stumped all of us. Okay. Yeah. We don't have the player reveal the answer. We have Adi plug it in for the grand
plug
reveal.
it in. Let's see. Terra, Electric.
Got a couple of steps.
We got a couple multipliers here. Beads of Rune, Transistor. We got Choice Specs.
we got choice specs.
And modest.
And Modest.
Modest 52.
Modest 250 special attack with Electroweb.
Electroweb's the move.
Versus Reggie Drago with no bulk, electric terrain. We're doing
Electroweb's in the game.
okay with no bulk. I'm seeing 57 to 68%.
Yep. That's what.
Dang. All right, there it is.
I had to do Electroweb because I wanted to do like Thunderbolt or Volt Switch or Thunder or something, and they all just kill.
Yeah. You got to make it more interesting, right?
The Electroweb has a bit more steps because you've got the 60 BP, and then you've got the spread reduction.
You know what's awesome is the Terra Dragon Draco or Terra Dragon Dragon Energy at 44% is going to kill in return.
I hope you guys are excited for the return of Aleki one day.
Oh my god.
Maybe
I am not.
Never.
Tommy, did you happen to get yours, or do you want me to go now?
No, I'm all set. All right.
All right.
So it is a 252 special attack, choice specs, Terra Ice, Helping Hand, Iron Bundle, Blizzard into 252 AV Tinglu.
Into the Tingle. Ooh, okay. Nature on that guy or no?
It is just neutral.
Neutral
for
nature.
Ting.
Neutral nature. Okay.
Neutral nature. Got my number.
All right, Justin,
I have my number.
go for it.
All right,
55.
Burns. Okay. How about you, Alex?
84.
Adi?
88 once again.
88, the number of the night.
All
All
right.
right,
Alright,
so
hit it in.
Adi starts plugging
plug
it
it
in.
All right, we got Iron Bundle. You said specs, right?
Yeah,
Specs
we're going to do
modest?
252. No, Tim. 252. Choice specs, Terra Ice, Helping Hand, Blizzard.
Oh, there's helping it too.
Into 252 HP, 252 special defense, Assault Vest, Tinglu.
All right, it's looking like it's doing 70 to 83. Is that what we getting?
83.9.
Yes, 83.9.
What did I say again? Did I say 80?
You said 84.
84, so I was actually out of it. No!
You were so
Oh
close.
no!
You were so close.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts.
0.1%.
I always get the max roll, and on Showdown it rounds up. No. Or like it doesn't tell you the percentage, you know.
Right.
Or also I'm probably just not usually facing 252 Ting Lu.
Yeah, that's not a common one.
All right. I guess I'll go now. I stole this one from Nails in our chat earlier. Because I hadn't had one yet. I was out and I was like, all right, you know what? I was looking for a Quackleval Calc anyway.
Oh boy.
So we have there's not as many crazy multipliers here. We just got a Life Orb Chi-Yu with Terrifier. Heatwave into the Quackleval in Sun. I guess there's quite a few. It's just not all of them. We don't have the Helping Hands or the Modest. How much is the Quack Calc doing? Yeah. Let me know when you guys are locked in.
Sorry, I gotta.
I'll read it out loud.
Thank you.
252 special attack, Life Orb, Chi-Yu, of course, Beads of Ruin, Terrifier, Heatwave versus a Quackleval and Sun.
Oh god! In Sun?
Life Orb, Sun,
This has to.
Terrifier, Chi-Yu, Heatwave versus the
Terrifier.
Quackleval.
That just KOs. That does 120.
All right, Tommy's already locking in early with a 120.
All right, so I think it's going to be like something like a 12.5% chance to Oko, so I'm going to go with like 98.
Okay.
I think it also has a roll to Oko. I don't know if it's a 12.5 or if it's a 97.5. I think it's just 100%, right? If it has a roll to Oko, it's 100%.
Fair enough.
198 and 120. Adi, get that in there.
Let's see. We got the Quacker. Just 4 HP or no bulk.
Yes, 4 HP.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey,
Hello.
Shit, did my headphones die?
Hey there.
Maybe it's Adi's issue.
He didn't want to hear us talk anyway.
hello, and then he cut.
Adi!
Okay,
You're
okay.
stranded from us.
I can hear you again.
Okay.
All right, let's see. So we got,
there.
do you say any bulk or what?
There's no helping hand. There's no bulk on the Quacker.
Okay. The helping hand doesn't really matter. We got Chiyu. We got Heat Wave from Modest Life Orb in the Sun, right?
Yeah, Sun. Not
Terrifier.
Modest. I think it was Timid and Life Orb.
Timid, Life Orb, 252 special attack, Beads of Rune.
Oh, I didn't realize the helping hand was on the Quacker's side. Yeah, you're gotcha.
And in the Sun. Is this right?
Actually, what's great is I didn't look up the answer before, so I should have just guessed myself. I could have just guessed myself.
It's looking like it is 65 to 7. Oh, is it Terrifier, you said?
Yeah, Terrifier. Get some more in there. Get another multiplier.
Okay, yeah.
Terrifier.
No, it's 86 to 102.
Wait, what's the percent chance to Oko?
It is 18.
Oh, I was
18. You're
I
off
was
by a
off
roll.
by a roll. No.
But yeah, your
we
intuition
still
is
get
really
there?
good.
Oh, wait. I don't think you put on the 4 HP.
Okay.
That'll save Justin.
Yeah, no, it does. The 4 HP. I didn't realize you said 4 HP.
Let's go.
Dude, sorry I don't know my duck calcs.
Oh, man. Well, you better start learning them because after this weekend, it's going to be everywhere.
Oh boy.
All right, my turn. So,
All right, Adi, round it out.
in honor of tomorrow's team report, assuming I get around to actually editing it tonight, we got Squawkabilly. Tomorrow beating tomorrow on the stream. Yesterday, if you were watching this on YouTube, which will be out on YouTube, by the way. Check me out on YouTube, !YT. If you are just tuning in now, you can watch the first part of the podcast on YouTube on Wednesday. So we got Squawkabilly, right? I have not done this calc myself, but we got Squawkabilly. It's clicking. It's max speed. Max attack, Jolly Nature, and it is no other multipliers. Clicking Brave Bird into a 252 HP, 156 defense, not nature boosted Amogus.
Okay, wait. So the Squawkabilly didn't have max HP?
I actually can pull it up, but I think it did have max HP. I'm just doing this for the point of the calc.
Sure. Okay. I was just like, it had Final Gambit, I thought.
Yeah, no, it had Final Gambit and Parting Shot, like it was a supporter. But for the sake of this calc, because I don't think it kills if you're max HP, no investment. I haven't run the calc myself.
Yeah, no, I honestly, even if it does have the investment, it's not killing, bro. This thing sucks. But Brave Bird does have base power. I've got my number.
I don't even know
Sorry, what's
Squawkabilly's
the?
attack
Can you
stat.
say the whole calc again?
Yeah, so it is Squawkabilly with max attack, Jolly Nature, Brave Bird into 252, 156, Calm, Amogus.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I haven't posted the last two calcs because I wasn't given the spoiler-free ones of them. James.
I've got an answer.
All right, let's hear it. Tommy, you're up.
All right, I think it's gonna do like just barely enough to 2-hit KO. So I'll say 51.
Okay. We got Justin
I'll go with 65.
and Alex.
No faith in the bird. This guy's got EVs. It's 88 again.
It's 88. Alex, you are correct. It is doing 76 to 90.
I'm in there. You got to believe in the bird, guys.
Dude,
I know that
what is even Squawkabilly's attack stat?
96.
No,
And Talonflame. I was thinking it had like
Better than Talonflame.
attack.
Actually, I think it's doing more damage. Adi, it sounds like you have the wrong nature.
I said jolly.
And you said it was calm.
Oh, I
Mungus.
said calm. Yes, correct. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's doing 84 to 98. That's even better. Yeah.
I'm still in there though.
Sorry,
I
my
was
bad.
hoping it would push Alex out.
I did say Amogus was calm. 84 to 98%, so it's just barely missing out on that OCO. Man, Tommy, you said just barely two-shot? That's
did I?
All right, come on, man.
I do not know any calcs. I click
Got it
buttons,
right, it
man.
does 2-shot.
If you guys ever want
True.
a free win against Tommy, just bring a Pokemon that's
Just
outside
bring
like top 10.
Squawkabilly.
That just
Yeah.
anything outside of top 10, it sounds like he's just like,
Right.
yeah, I don't know what it does.
And then you do 25% more damage than he thinks it does, and you still
Dude, I'm like responsible. I'm like responsible for clicking Blizzard, the Helping Hand, Terra Ice. Like that's the calc I know.
Mhm.
I know that I one-hit KO everything on that team except for the Arcanine.
Yeah, no, Tommy's damage calcs are this OCOs or this 2-hit KOs, and
This
that's it.
does not OCO.
All right, so that is going to wrap it up for us on Top Takes. I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, so again, make sure to go and follow Tommy and Justin on Twitter. Don't follow Alex; it's not worth it. He's kind of he's kind of mediocre Twitter presence.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, again, this will be out on YouTube on Wednesday. If you missed the first part of it, then you can go ahead and check it out there. Again, I did allude to the fact that I have a team report with the Squawkabilly guy coming out tomorrow as well. And so make sure to check that out, and I'll give you the YouTube link once again. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. This has been a lot of fun. And thank you guys, both Justin and Tommy, for coming on to the podcast this week.
You bet.
Fun to be on.
Great.
It's still Mental Health Awareness Month, so be aware.
Yeah, you want to drop the link in chat?
Yeah, I think I dropped it before. I said it was my OnlyFans link.
You put it in our Discord chat. Put it in the
Did I? All right, let me move it there.
Yeah. Go ahead and put it in the.
Yeah, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, so if you feel like you need to talk to someone, dial 988. That's the suicide help hotline.
Oh, let me plug something less important. We just dropped. I'm the Smog on VGC section leader. We just dropped our summer seasonal signups. It's going to be Regulation D, which we should get those rules this week. If we don't, it'll just go back to Reg C. But right now, tentatively, it will be Regulation D.
Mhm.
So if you want to get the World's Prep in early, you can go sign up for summer seasonals.
What's
It's
the prize
one
like?
matchup. I don't know.
Do I get my custom avatar?
No, but if you win, you get circuit points towards our Smog on circuit, which awards a prize banner and a custom avatar to the winner of the entire circuit.
All right.
All right, if you want to make your way there, this is one of the steps.
Let me drop a link to that in chat if you didn't already.
Let me get you the.
I got it. I pulled it up.
Oh, you found it.
Yeah. So.
Who should we throw the raid to, Audi?
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna throw a raid over to Pokemon veteran CJ, who's streaming looks like some ladder with some Chen Pao Talonflame stuff. So yeah, go say hi. Let him know where you came from, and yeah, thank you all for watching. And until next time, see you all later.
See ya.
Peace out, peeps.